Hi guys, it's Mrs. Anderson, and I just wanted to touch base with you before you write this next paragraph. Give you a few tips, a little help to make sure that we can get it done right. Today in class we discussed the classification paragraph, and I want to remind you that this paragraph is about clearly defining an item through categorizing, and then using those categories to help us understand what the broader topic is about. The writer begins with a large topic like automobiles and then breaks it down into categories. For example, we could say cars, trucks, minivans. And through the description of those categories, we learn more about automobiles. Another example topic could be friendship. And we could break that down into three categories: best friend, social media friend, or acquaintance, and then discuss each one of those categories to help us better understand friendship. Remember, you choose your topic, and the book has some listed for you, and you get to decide how you would like to break it down, how you would like to categorize it. Those are both of your choices, an author's option. So here's another example: cars. If cars is our topic, and I decide that I want to break it down into categories of high performance, luxury, or family cars, that's what my topics would be about in the paragraph. So we would have a topic sentence that would explain what my topic is, cars, and then we would have the supporting detailed sentences that would discuss high performance, luxury, and family cars. So let's discuss the topic sentence. The topic sentence has two parts, as I mentioned in class. Part of the topic sentence is stating and introducing your topic, and then the other part is talking about how you plan on classifying that topic. So here are some examples. 4 categories of employees exist in the workplace. In this example, we know that the paper will be about employees in the workplace. We also know that we have 4 categories. In this example, we can see that we have the topic and the classification present in our topic sentence. And that's what we need to make a good topic sentence for a classification paper. Here is another example. An athlete soon learns of the several kinds of coaches. What will this paper be about? Kinds of coaches. How many categories? Well, the author doesn't specifically state how many categories. In fact, they just state several. But we can change that, or we can specify it by using another sentence, the next sentence behind it, which would tell us specifically what our categories are. So we could use an athlete soon learns of several kinds of coaches, and then our next sentence would then tell us the types of coaches that we are categorizing. Here is another example. All automobiles fall into one of 3 categories. So we know that our paper, or our paragraph rather, will be about automobiles. And how many categories will we have? 3. So there are 3 ways to form your topic sentences. One is to use your topic plus the organizing principle. Here's an example. So let's say that our topic is shoppers. And we would like to organize our categories based on shopping techniques. So the first way I might form my topic sentence would be to use shoppers and shopping techniques and discuss that. And this is a real example that I have on Google Classroom, and so you can go to Google Classroom in the Word doc that I have put on there, and you can read through this actual example of shoppers. But another way we can write our topic sentence is to use the topic plus the organizing principle plus the categories. So we would say shoppers shopping techniques, and then we would list our 3 categories right behind that, all in one sentence. That's really good because it provides a complex sentence. Instead of doing the 2 sentences, you can write in such a way that you get all the information in one, provided you use appropriate punctuations. The third way to make a topic sentence is to just state the topic and the categories. And this is probably the most simplest way to do this. The simplest way to do this, sorry, most simplest is not a thing. The simplest way to do this, and so people find it easy, and that might be the route that you choose to go. Okay, the format of the paragraph. Our paragraph begins with the topic sentence. And then you're going to tell your reader the 3 categories you are going to use to narrow down your broader topic. Once you get to the categories, after you list your categories, then you begin with category 1. And you give the reader details about that particular category. Now, your details need to be informative. They need to be something that the reader can get information from. We want it to be specific to that category. We want it to relate back to your topic sentence because everything needs to connect together, but you're giving me details. Be careful not to give me examples of it, but to actually give me something that describes it or tells me why this particular, the reason why this person or this object is in this category. So for example, if we go back to our example about the shoppers, and let's say that one of my categories for shoppers is the lazy shopper. So I would say the lazy shopper goes into the store without a list, and they throw whatever they want into the basket. They kind of meander throughout the aisles, just looking and hunting for treasures. And that those could be my 1 or 2 sentences that describes the lazy shopper. And then I would move on to the next shopper. Next is the hurried shopper. And we would discuss, and I would give detail about that. You want to make sure that you are actually explaining that in your details, that you're actually giving information. And then after you do your 3 categories, you have your conclusion. And in your conclusion, you want to wrap up everything. You want to reflect back to your topic sentence, but you also want to kind of give a reason, an observation as to why you classified the topic the way you did. And again, there are several examples. I want to say I put 4 examples in the Word document on Google Classroom that you can read and get kind of a feeling for that. So hopefully those will help you out. I definitely suggest that you look at them. On the first example, I went ahead and highlighted some things. I've color-coded it for you so you can see the topic sentence, you can see the different categories, and then you can even see a transition that they used in there. And it's kind of one of the ones that we talked about in class, how you only want to use that once in a paragraph instead of saying first, second, and third. I think they use finally to kind of sum up their last point. Okay, so now we're getting to the place where you might be ready to begin brainstorming your paragraph. And so remember in class I talked about how we would write an outline. That's how we're going to prepare and how we would brainstorm this. So if our topic is cars, and we decide that we are going to categorize that topic based on high performance cars, luxury cars, and family cars, those are our categories, then the next thing that we need to brainstorm are the details for those categories. So in high performance cars, we might decide to talk about the engine or the size of the car, or how fast the car can travel from, I think it's like 0 to 60 in how many seconds or whatnot. We might decide to discuss those details about high performance cars. With luxury cars, we might decide to discuss the leather seats, kind of all the amenities, whether they have heat warmers or if any kind of tech that's in the car. Anything that would be distinguishable about that particular car, we want to discuss those things. And then the last category is family, the family car. And so that car, we might discuss the seating options there. Family cars generally have a lot of seating, so 6 seats or more, or perhaps has good gas mileage or very durable. Can be cleaned easily, or seats come out, or they move forward, or you can flip them over. Any of those details that you would want to share with your reader so that they understand, yes, these are all types of cars, but this is what's different about these particular cars, these category of cars. So that's how we would outline our paper before we begin to write it. Now remember, you have a brainstorming session, then we write a rough draft, then we go back and look at that rough draft, and we will look for word choice or maybe things that don't flow as well. We're looking at sentence structure. Perhaps we need to vary some sentences, or maybe we wrote too many complex sentences. You're going to check your punctuation. You're going to edit it pretty much after your rough draft, and then you write a final draft. The final draft is what I get. So go through those steps because it will allow you to edit your own material, and it doesn't have to be a long thing. You could decide, I'm brainstorming tonight, and then tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, I'll wake up and I'll write my paragraph rather, and then later that night I'm going to edit it and get my final copy printed and ready to go for Wednesday. So it doesn't have to be a long drawn out process, but you do have to give yourself a few hours in between each section. Okay, some final tips, just reminders. Pick a topic that you know well. This will allow you to break it down into categories easily, and it will also allow you to come up with the details easily. You need at least 3 categories. So once you pick your broad topic, you need to break that down into 3 categories. And then you need to make sure that your categories are in a logical sequence. That can be however you decide as the writer to arrange it, but it needs to make sense. And we worked on that a little bit when we did the example paragraph, and when we talked about Kinsley's day in the life of Kinsley. When we did that in class, we talked about how to create that flow and making sure that things are in a logical order. And then remember, it must be an MLA format, which includes the typing. So please type your paragraphs. And then just a final tip, remember you're giving me details, not examples, details. Guys, I'm very excited to read your papers. I hope that this was a help to you, and I will see you on Wednesday. Happy writing.